Sorry, I just want to say one more thing. Today's lecture and food has been sponsored by Mrs. Carrie Levion and Sons for the Eloi Nishmat of Ephraim ben Moshe. So today's learning goes for that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So today is a special class that we're having with Rabbi Hajioff, Lawrence Hajioff. We're very, very close. I just want to give a little bit of an introduction about a little bit about him, and then we'll begin. So I'll just, it's a lot, so I don't memorize it, so I have to read it off here. So originally from London, England, Rabbi Lawrence Hajioff graduated with honors in political science from Manchester University after working for 2 years for MTV in news production and winning the national competition Jewish Stand-Up Comedian of the Year. Rabbi Hajioff traveled to Israel to study in Israel for his rabbinical smicha ordination from Yeshiva or Sameach. Rabbi Hajioff is the educational director of Birthright Israel Alumni in New York. He has been instrumental in implementing programs for Birthright Israel in Manhattan, such as the very successful adult bar and bat mitzvah program, which some 400 people have completed so far. He also leads trips to Israel and Poland 3 times a year for hundreds of young professionals. Rabbi Hajioff is on the faculty of Stern College for Women at Yeshiva University, if anyone's interested. He teaches on the Mechina Introductory Judaic Studies program at Stern College. This program includes Shabbatonim on and off campus and a summer learning program in Israel at the YU campus. He teaches introductory Judaic Studies courses which cover all the foundations of Jewish thought. In 2006, he received the Professor of the Year Award in Judaic Studies from the senior year students at Stern. Rabbi Hajioff has worked extensively with young Jewish drug addicts and was helpful in creating a successful drug treatment program in Rockland County for young Jewish teenagers. Rabbi Hajioff, who lives in Monsey with his wife Anita and their 5 children. And now, without further ado.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a real pleasure. What a lovely group of young Jewish men and women. So honored to be back at TLC presenting at a very big time of the year before Rosh Hashanah, or after Rosh Hashanah. I drank too much. And before Yom Kippur. And I thought, what better topic to discuss than love? Because who doesn't want to fall in love? I do, right? Let's check again. So that's going to be a topic this evening. I'm going to start with a story. And I want you to think about the story. And then I'm going to ask you a question at the end of the story. And you're going to try to, I'm not going to finish the story. And you're going to try to answer the question. You get the game? And then I'm going to explain something else to you. And then I'm going to ask you the question again. And this time, you're going to know the answer. You get it? So story, question, one last idea, another question. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this. And the story, it's a true story. I did a lot of counseling. And there was a young couple, a guy and a girl, who came to my office a little while ago. And she didn't look so happy. And he looked like a typical Jewish guy. And they came in, and they'd been dating for about 3 years. 3 years of dating. And they sit down with me, and I say, everything okay? And this girl starts to cry. And the mascara is coming down her face, and the snot bubble, you know, the whole thing. And she's not so happy. And I said, what's wrong? And she says, Rabbi, I want to get married. And I said, that's nice, but I'm already married. She goes, no, not to you, to him. And he's sitting there like, drool coming out of his mouth. So I said, okay, then when do you get married? And she said, well, he's not ready to get married. So I said, well, when is he ready? So I looked at him, Mr. And he said, well, listen, I just graduated college. I need a few years. I got to build up my career. And then we can talk about it. And I said to her, so when do you want to get married? She goes, I don't know, 6 months, a year? I want to get married. We've been dating for a long time. So we had this big problem. He's looking for a few months, a few years. And she's like a few months, a year max. And then we're going to get engaged. We've got to make this happen. asked him the following question. Listen very carefully. This is very important. I then asked him the following question. I said, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the least, 10 being the most, if you were to break up right now, finish, tell us, all done, how upset would you be? From 0 to 10. 0 being not upset at all, 10 being very, very upset. So first of all, I asked her, and I said, how upset would you be if you broke up right now after this 3-year relationship? And she starts to cry again. Right, all thing. And she said, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So I turned around to him, and I said to you, if you were to break up right now, in cold turkey, done, that's it. I'm talking no more calls, no emails, no texts, no Facebook, no tweeting, no BBMing, no texting, nothing. Even though I always tell people who tweet, they should tweet others with great respect. And tweet others how they want to be tweeted. But anyway, how upset would you be? And he said, 6 to 7 out of 10. 6 to 7 out of 10. So right now, I want to make you into the rabbis. How do you feel? I just made you rabbis. You feel good? And you're in that situation, in my situation, with this young, lovely Jewish couple in front of you. What would you tell them? Who would you talk to? Would you talk to her? Would you talk to him? Not all at once. Take it easy. Yes. You would talk to both. What's your name?
Leora.
Ah, that's a beautiful name. Leora, what would you say to this young couple in front of you? You're the rabbi now. Rabbi Leora.
I would say that we should talk to the girl because if anything happens and he decides he wants to break up with her, she shouldn't be so hard on herself because then she's not going to want to find another husband. She's going to want to go find him again.
So you would console her.
Yeah.
You're like, Bubala, it's going to be okay. So you would speak to her. I mean, are you confident this is going to happen? What would you think?
I don't know because the guy
Yeah. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Thank you so much, Leora. Anybody else? Well, yeah. What's your name?
Natalie.
Natalie. That's my sister's name. That's a very special name. Yes.
I would ask her if she really wants to marry him or she just wants to get married.
That's a deep question. Does she really want to marry him or does she want to get married? Let's assume at this point, it's a good question, deep, I like that. This is deep TLC, I like that. Let's assume that at this point she wants to marry him. She brought him to me. I mean, she dragged him by the ear, you know. So let's assume she wants to marry him. Now what?
Maybe ask him why he isn't as enthusiastic as she is. Like,
I
about
did.
the relationship.
I did ask him that, Natalie. And I said to him, why are you so enthusiastic about this? And he's like, I am. Just not as much as her, and I'm in no hurry. That's fair enough. He's not lying. He's not being rude and cruel and nasty and mean, is he? I mean, maybe to his younger sister he is, you know, because that's what Jewish brothers do. They torture the younger sisters. That's actually what they're paid for. It's their job. So what are we going to do? I've got a problem over here. Is there compromise, maybe? Is there compromise over here? Maybe he can, what do you think? Anything from the guys over there? Maybe not too much. Yes.
I would talk to the girl and say, like, why would you feel like 10 out of 10 if you broke up with him?
Oh, she's been with him. That's a very good question. Why would she feel 10 out of 10 she broke up with him? Let's take it for given. I'll explain to you why. That's actually going to be the topic tonight. I'm going to explain to you why she said 10 out of 10 and why he said 6 out of 10. I'm going to explain exactly why. And by the way, this is true for all of us. It's true for us now in the relationships we're in, with our families, our friends, at school, with our rabbis, whatever it is. We all have exactly the same problem that this young lady has. And he's not a bad guy, actually. I want to show you. There's nothing wrong with this guy. He's just not so into her, or as much as she's into him. Oh, right, yes. You want to say something? Hi, what's your name?
Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
I
I don't know if this is called Lisa. In case you're wondering. Okay, yes.
think that it's an issue, a challenge to him, that he should try to live without her for a period of time and see if he can.
That's very clever. Yeah, well, Lisa says, you know what, they should try being separate. They did. Excellent. They did try that. When they came to me, they really tried it. And what happened? They broke up. She went home. She cried in her pillow for like 2 days. You know, you cried, right? And the mother kept saying, stop doing that. It's a lot of cleaning. And then they go back together again, and boop, and in, out, shake it. So they didn't really try that, which is why they came to me. I'm like the fun. They didn't come to the rabbi at the end. They didn't come with these terrible. They don't come to the beginning. Right? I had just met a guy. No, that I don't hear. I hear when it's crisis, or they're about to get married, or they're about to get married and there's a crisis, which also happened. I'm actually doing a wedding tonight in Long Island, actually, and there was a crisis there. But that's basically with in-laws, which is another question, which you don't have to worry yourselves with right now. But we're going to get another day. So they really did that. They tried it. This is a great crowd. This is fantastic. Wow. These are sharp students. I do this with adults, though. Exactly what I'm doing now. I do with people in their 20s and 30s, and they sit there like this, right? So this is good. This is good. Okay. Leora and Lisa, Natalie, and everyone else. Your name, sir, was?
Justin.
Justin. Very good. Let's go a little bit deeper. And I'm going to explain something to you. And then I'm going to ask you the question again. And this time you're all going to know the answer to this question. And then I'm going to tell you what actually happened with this young couple. Good? Are we excited? Let's try that again. Are we excited?
Yes.
I didn't have to force that out. That was so natural. That was amazing. Okay. It goes like this. What is love and how exactly does it work? Well, everyone wants to fall in love. Right? We want to be in love. Everyone talks about it. Everyone hears about the radio. Love, you know? Love. And everyone loves their pets. And people love their friends. And we all want to create good, healthy, exciting relationships with the people, our friends, our neighbors, hopefully our parents, which is not always so easy, our brothers and sisters, which is sometimes impossible, and that's what we want to do. But how do we define love? So to answer this question, I'm going to do something really, really unusual. I'm going to go, as you say in America, to left field. You know expressions of baseball, expressions left field. Basically, I'm going to go over here. I don't mean physically over there. I'm going to explain something completely different. And then I'm going to come back to the situation. Are you following? You with me? Yes. So what I want to talk about for a few minutes is I want to talk about the Hebrew language. And I have a question. What's up with Hebrew? Why are they always making us study Hebrew? I went to yeshiva growing up, and I had rabbis like, read the Hebrew. I'm like, I can read English. I'm a big boy. And when I pray, I can pray in English. Does God understand English? What do you think? Does God understand English? Let's take it for a given that God knows English. Right? Let's just assume. And when I pray in English, I mean, it sounds funny, like God, thou, blessing, but let's just say, why are we Jews so obsessed with learning this language called Hebrew? That's the question I spent 3 or 4 minutes on. We're going to close that up, and then we're going to bring it back to this discussion. Good? Fabulous, lovely, very good. Okay, so it goes like this. The Hebrew language is not like any other language in the world. If I was saying to you, give me a romantic language, what would you say?
Italian.
French. Oh, it's such a beautiful language. French. You can say with everyone in French, you sound fantastic. Anyone here speak French? Any French speakers over here? When I went to high school, England is very close to France. We have water between us, thank goodness. But there's a gap. But we have to learn French, like you here have to learn Spanish. Right, so you communicate with your cleaning ladies. So we in England, we have to actually learn French. So I was terrible at languages, unfortunately. So I used to basically talk like French, and you can say whatever you want. I'd say to you, bonjour, je n'ai pas de chien. Does that sound beautiful, fantastic? It means, hello, I don't have a dog. But you know what? No matter what you say in French, it sounds fantastic. It's just so romantic. Bonjour, je n'ai pas de chien. Je parle. And you sound like you're either completely insane or you're French, which sometimes goes hand in hand. So we'll leave that aside. And if I ask you, give me a language that's really harsh, like a tough German, right? Your talk is German, it's a very harsh language. And now to ask you for language is very, very descriptive, right? It's got a lot of words, very, very clear. So Hebrew could be English is usually considered to be very, very descriptive, right? A lot of languages come from English, Latin, originally. If I ask you for a language that's spiritual, Hebrew. Hebrew. And now it's not just Jews and believers. You should know that when this country was founded, Hebrew was a very important language. You know the logo for Harvard and Yale University has Hebrew in it? Urim v'Tumim. Tumim is a Hebrew word. They have Hebrew. Have a look at the logo. Go online and look at the logos of universities. Why? Because when they founded these colleges, these people came over and created the whole academic world that we know in America. They knew Hebrew because it was a very important language. language. And when they used to speak and give their dissertations, their very fancy speeches, a lot of speeches, sometimes all the speech was done in Hebrew. It was known that it was a very powerful and important language. And I'm going to tell you why. It's based upon the first pasuk, which means the first verse of the Torah. And the first verse of the Torah reads, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashemim v'et haaretz, which means, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, if I were a Christian, which I'm not, you did, okay, fine, just you were, give it away, right? It was the notes, right? So, if I were a Christian, I would look at the English, and it says, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Okay, I'm cool with that, right? But it's taught me something very important. What has it taught me? There's a God, there was no heaven, no earth. God came and created the heaven and the earth. Cool? But the Hebrew, according to Kabbalah, teaches me something really, really interesting. Listen to this. If you hear this idea, it was worth my mother having me. Unbelievable. The Hebrew has an extra word in it. The Hebrew has an extra word. Bereshit bara Elokim et. Et is two letters, Aleph and Tav. Now, actually, the word et has no translation. It doesn't actually even mean anything. It's just like a particle, kind of like glue. It sticks the verse together. Say the Jewish Kabbalists, an amazing thing. Not only is that verse teaching me what happened when God created the world, it's also teaching me how it happened. How did it happen? God used the letters, Aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, right through to the letter Tav, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and he created the world using the letters. Which means the world, whatever this means. I'm not a Kabbalist. If I was, I'd be charging a lot more for my service. But the Kabbalists say this, that God used the letters Aleph through Tav, the Hebrew letters, to make this world. When we're walking around this world, somehow we're walking around Hebrew letters. God used the letters to create this world. Let me ask you a question. This is a little difficult, so I want to focus. It's not such an easy question, but I want to see if you can focus on this, because what I'm going to tell you is really important. This is the table, okay? What came first? The first of a table, or the word table? What came first? The first of a table, or the word table? Anyone have a question? The table came first, right? Someone took 4 posts, boop, 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 put a slab on top, and said, let's call it something. We can't call it banana, because that's a yellow fruit. We can't call it potato, because that's a vegetable. We can't call it Barbara, because that's my friend. So what are we going to call it? Say it came a tablet, and came a table. So first came the thing, then came the word. Now here's a much harder question, so we're going to have to really focus on this. Something you have to think hard. Is there any relationship between a table and the word table? Think about it. Is there any relationship between an actual table and the word table? You hear the question? Yeah. Nice try. Take a T, take a U and a B. Could be. I don't think so. It's cute, but I don't think so. There's no relationship. They could have used anything. Any word would have done. Call it a chair. Without you said until it got complicated, right? Call it a zibi baba baba. Right? We don't care. Call it whatever you want. Why am I telling you this? I tell you why. Because in Judaism we see the exact opposite. First comes the word, and I'm going to explain this, so focus carefully. God created the world using words. First came the word, and then the thing came from the word, like a computer program. You type in the letters, and it creates something. But the letters create a computer program. It's a perfect analogy. The words come, and then the thing appears. Can I give you an example of this? Just to make it really clear. Because what we're saying is, if you want to know what anything is, any physical thing or an idea, look at the Hebrew word, work backwards, and you'll know what that thing is. Let's try it together. What's the Hebrew word for a face? A face is a panim. Very good. Panim is a face. Now, if you change the vowels, it changes from panim to pinim. Panim becomes pinim. Same letters, just different vowels, so it sounds a little different. What's pinim?
Inside.
Inside. Panim is face, pinim is inside. Why would you have the same word for a face and inside? Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? How do you know how someone's doing? You look at their face. If I would have walked in today and said, "Hi," you look at my face, you know I'm doing well. If I would have walked in here and be like, you know I'm not doing well. You look at my face. You don't look at my hand or my knee or my foot. You look at my face, because my face, my panim, reflects my pinim. Listen to this. Let's take it to the next level. Follow carefully. Have you ever met someone and they're really, really good looking? A guy or a girl? And you're like, OMG. I cannot believe how good looking this guy or this girl is. And then you get to know their opinion, and they're not very nice people. Inside, they're just not nice people. And actually, they become ugly. Their face actually changes and actually becomes ugly because their opinion reflects on their panim. You get it? And have you met someone who's really, really ugly? I mean, you kind of look at them. You're like, oh my goodness, look at that guy. Put a bag on his head, right? There's no one here. And look at that girl. Oh, put her away somewhere. And then you get to know their inside, and they're really nice people, and their face becomes good looking. It's an incredible thing. They actually become good looking. My wife says when she first met me, okay, never mind. But you get the idea. So how do I know this? The Hebrew word is telling me. Let's try with a thing. What's the Hebrew word for a dog? Keleb, very good. Now, keleb, dog is actually two Hebrew words put together. Kol, lev, all heart. Man's best friend. Now, let's think about dogs for a second. Now, if you're a dog owner, don't attack me yet. Okay? Wait till I finish, because dog owners can be violent. Because they love their dogs so much, they'll do anything to protect them. You can insult the parents, the grandparents, but you do not insult the dog. So let me finish the idea. Let's think about dogs for a second. They don't really do too much. I do like, yip, 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 yip. Like, oh, my little doggy, boo, 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 yip, and they're kissing, like, yo, yo, boo, 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 right? The goat gives us its milk, gives us its skin, gives us its fur. The cow pulls things for us, gives us its skin, milk, cheese comes from it. And there in the barn, in the shed outside, the dog, yip, 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 right? And he's sitting by the table, eating from the table. He's sleeping in bed with us. Boo, 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 boo. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the dog has a trait. It's kol lev, it's all heart, it's loyal. And we respect loyalty. So more than any other animal, it gets to be in the house, having a nice comfortable bed, sleeping with us, because it has this trait, and we Jews like this trait. That doesn't mean that every dog is like it. It means the idea of dogness is loyalty. All the way back, and by the way, you should know that in Judaism, dogs have a special status. We actually give dogs certain treats that other animals don't get. When they used to have korbanot sacrifices that were brought in the temple in Jerusalem, they used to have extra pieces of meat, tishno chalakela, throw them to the dog. And there's other things we have with dogs. So why? Why? Because one dog is like so special. It's a loyal creature. We recognize that and we like it. How do I know that? Because the Hebrew word is telling me. We have a question over there. Yes.
Are we not allowed to have dogs though?
You are allowed to have dogs.
How are you? I heard that you're not.
You go to a store.
No. Like in the Jewish religion, like you're not supposed to have a dog because of something.
Not true.
I asked the rabbi about that.
I hear. I'm sure the rabbi was a very great man. With Jewish law, you can have a dog. There's certain restrictions. On Shabbat, you'll have to feed your dog. Obviously, actually, it's a mitzvah. It's a very important Jewish law. You have to feed your animals before you feed yourself. You have a goldfish at home, you've got to feed your goldfish first. You've got a dog at home, you've got to feed your dog. There's a lot of responsibility. But people don't know this. There's a lot of responsibility. Right? So maybe that's what the rabbi is referring to. There's a lot of responsibility when it comes to pets. By the way, you'll have to drink first before the animal. Right? You'll have to feed your goldfish water. You'll have to drink first. But animals you've got to feed first. There's a lot of responsibility. So if you have a dog, and when it comes to Shabbat, deal with them, that's not for now. But the idea of a dog happens to be quite special in Judaism. Are you following so far? Should we do another one? Here's an interesting one. What's the Hebrew word for scale? Scales, right? Scales over there? And that final one of these scales with crayon. What's the word for scales? Anyone knows? It's a very difficult word.
Mishkal.
Yeah, what a modern word. Moznayim is the traditional word. Moznayim. Shakol is to weigh things out. But moznayim is the actual scales themselves. Now check this out. Ready for this? The Hebrew word moznayim has another word inside it, which is ozen. What's ozen? Ear. Ear. The nose and the mouth. It's an ear. Why would the word ear be inside the word for scales? Why would the word ear be inside the word for scales? What do you think? Difficult question. So the answer is because your balance system is your inner ear. People sometimes go deep diving, for example, and their balance goes off, or you get certain conditions, your balance, which is located in your ear, you're lying in bed, you're like, woo, right, turn around, place your bets, you're like all over the place, right? It comes to the ear, so actually the word moznayim actually tells me that the balance to a person, the thing that keeps you like standing straight and not put down, actually is inside your ear. Okay, so now we know how, well, by the way, this is a side note, but really important. This is true for us, true. Your Hebrew name defines who you are. You are your Hebrew name. You know, the word for soul in Hebrew is a neshama. The middle letters are changed in name. If you want to understand who somebody is, look at their Hebrew name and understand it. That's why many of you, we name after our grandparents, which you're actually doing. And it sounds weird, and this is very deep. You're actually taking a little bit of their soul and bringing it down to you. And we Sephardim, we name after the living. Ashkenazim name after, but there's a connection. And many people will tell me that they see a connection between the grandchild and the original grandparent, or great-grandparent, or great-aunt, wherever they got the name from. Because it's actually your neshama, it's your soul. According to Kabbalah, when your parents named you, they had Ruach HaKodesh, a special spirit, came into their minds so they could name you. Because God decides your name. It's like a barcode on a cola bottle. It's like straight lines of barcode. And you go to the store, and you put it over the thing, and it goes blip. And then that little red light thing goes blip. And then up on the screen comes all the information about that bottle of Coke. Right? It's all there. It's all encoded. Your name is the same. You can take your Hebrew name, you can go blip, and it's going to tell you all about yourself. Hebrew names are really important. Which is why there's a custom when a person gets, heaven forbid, when a person gets very, 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 very sick, they change their name. Have you seen this before? Right? They add the name Chaim for a man, or Chaya for a God in his life. Or they add the name Raphael for a man, right? Which means healing, right? He's the angel of healing. Why are they doing that? Because you're actually saying that this person who's sick is not the same person. Change the name, different person, different neshama. That's what we're trying to do. That's the idea behind it. The idea is to change the name completely so that it's a different person. Okay, we're coming back to our conversation. You still with me? Another 10 minutes to handle? Yeah? You sure? Okay, let's bring it back. What's the Hebrew word for love? That's our topic. Ahava, right. What does the word ahava actually mean? What does the word actually mean? I don't know. So I'll tell you the root. The root of the word is hav. Hav. What does hav mean? It's not, everyone says ahava, it's not a cream. Israeli style, the Dead Sea cream. So before, it is good cream, before it became a cream, it was an idea. It was an idea. So what does it actually mean? I mean, I'm really asking you, what is love? I feel a song coming on. What is it? So the word actually means to give. This is very important. To give. Say, the rabbis, an amazing thing. If you want love in your life, you give. Now, one second. That doesn't make sense. You tell me, Rabbi, that if I give somebody something, they're going to love me. We know that's not true. We know it. And to you, it's going to be very, very obvious when I give you an example. Imagine you have a young child, right? A friend of yours in high school, and the parents give them whatever they want. They don't do the homework? No problem. You can watch TV all night. Or you don't want to have dinner? You can have chocolate. You want to go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning? No problem. You want to stay out with your friends all night? And that's how they're brought up. What lovely giving parents. Oh my goodness, they're so nice. They give, they give, they give. What happens to that child? Spoiled little brat. And what's going to happen? That kid ends up in therapy. That's right. Take a college fund and send them to a psychiatrist. You've actually crushed that child. You've killed them. But Rabbi, you just told me if you give somebody something, love is what's generated. And the answer is it works like this. Follow very carefully. If I give you a gift, you don't love me because you took. But if I give you a gift, I love you. It's a simple thing, but it can change your life. If you give somebody something, you love them. The love follows the giving. That is the secret to all of life. No matter what you give and to whom, it could be money, it could be time, it could be effort, you love that thing more than that thing loves you. Which is why the Talmud says an amazing thing. Parents love their children more than the children love the parents. How do I know that? Because the parents give. And what do babies do? They take. Sometimes they give you a full diaper. But besides that, they're not doing too much. If you have a friend, and you've all been in a relationship like this, I know this. We have a friend of yours, and you give her, right? You give him, and all they do is take, and you become resentful. Why are you so upset and they're not upset? Shall I tell you why? Because you gave. And you gave them so much you actually fell in love with them. I mean, not, I love you, right? But there was a connection between you that we call love. That's why you go to high school, right? The teacher will feel more for the class than the student because the teacher's giving and the student's taking. And that's why in Judaism we're very careful to teach children from very early on to give. We need to put a little coin in the tzedakah box, right? We need to help around the house. Because if you don't create givers, you don't create lovers. That's the secret. Now check this out. I'm not speaking code over here, but hopefully we'll figure it out. What's the most precious possession you own? What's the most precious possession you own? Now I realize I'm a great parent, and I'm Persian myself. So most of you are thinking about your shoe collection, and I hear and I respect it. I have, Baruch Hashem, many daughters, and their shoes are the most, but I want you to think beyond the shoe if you can. Beyond the shoes and clothing, which I know for any self-respecting Persian woman and guy is very, very important. But let's leave aside the shoe collection. What's more important to you than your clothing and shoes? Family, very, very good. What's even more important to you than your family when it comes down to right? Yourself. You'll do whatever it takes to take care of yourself. You are your most important thing. Now, follow this carefully. This is the equation. You ready? This is the equation. It's not math, but it's an important equation. If you are the most important thing that you own, your body, to protect yourself, you do anything. If your body is the most important thing you own, if you give that most precious thing to somebody else, what's going to happen? You are going to love them. If you give yourself in any way you can imagine to somebody else, whether you like it or not, you're going to love them. Are they going to love you? No, they just took. And takers don't love. Now, we all have to take sometimes because we're human. Right? I've got to take a sandwich for myself. I've got to take a kebab for myself. I've got to have a cold bed. And we all have to take a choresh. We all got to take. I'm not disputing that. But my point is, if you want to love, you have to give. And if you have a couple, and one is giving, and one is taking, as opposed to both giving, then you're not going to be as much in love as you should be. And that's going to work with brothers, sisters, parents, jobs, college, high school, any equation, any way you can think about it. That is what is going to happen. Let's go back to our young couple sitting in my office with me. And they're sitting in front of me, and you're the rabbi again. But now you are equipped with all the information I just gave you. All that precious Jewish Torah information you just downloaded into your heads. And I say to her, how upset would you be? And she says, 10 out of 10. And I say, how upset would you be? And he says, 6 out of 10. Now, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? That's all it is. She gave more than him. He gave. He's not a 10. He gave. But only 6 out of 10. She gave 10 out of 10 of herself. That's the difference. There's never been a divorce in world history Never, in any country, in any culture, in any race, that didn't come from two sides taking. Under the chuppah, everyone says, I'm going to give, give, give. And then people get lazy or selfish, and they take. And one gives. And the marriage can carry on like that. But eventually, for it to break up, anything, any breakup, a synagogue, a school, a company, it ends up both sides taking. When people take, it's done. There's no love, there's no relationship. Close the doors. You're finished. Can you learn to give? Yes. It's a learnable thing. So when I sit there, he's a 6 out of 10, I'm not trying to say, oh, well, that's the end of that. Next. I'm like, are you willing to learn how to give? And his response was, That was that. So what do I tell them? Well, what did I tell them? I tell you what I told them. I said, I didn't talk to him. He's doing great. He's doing fine. He's with a lovely, smart, beautiful girl. There's no reason why he can just keep dating her forever and ever and ever and ever until he may want to marry her. But I spoke to her. And I said in front of him. And I said to her, I'm not going to tell you what to do because people don't listen to what I say. But I'll give you my opinion and you can do what you want with it. And that's a good key to life. All your friends will ask you for advice. You can tell them your opinion, but what they do with it is up to them. Because they're adults. So I'll give you my opinion. I say you can stick in this relationship and you can give, but eventually it's going to break up and you think you're hurt now. At that point, another 2 years of giving, 3 years of giving, that's a problem. That's problematic. It's a gamble. If you're a gambling woman, throw in your dice, put in your money, and keep going. If you're not, break up. Think about it. They left. That night they spoke, they had an amicable, friendly conversation. They broke up. And when I say break up, I'm talking cold turkey. No communication from that point on. And she was hurt.